Get ready to meet the next generation of female changemakers who are taking the lead to carve the shining future that they want to see. Gold Award Girl Scouts identify problems in their community and beyond, then take action to implement sustainable solutions. Get ready to meet some of those changemakers and the supporters who help them make the world a better place. This is the Make the World a Better Place podcast. Hi, it's Shanice Harris. Welcome to the Make the World a Better Place podcast. I'm here with Sail Nauticus Director Sarah Linden-Brooks. This former GSCCC Girl Scout earned her Gold Award and now directs Sail Nauticus, a community sailing center that provides lots of fun after-school programming to Norfolk Public School students and beyond, as well as a membership program for the community to learn all about how to sail and also to increase people's access to the area's maritime resources. How exciting! In her role, she manages a fleet of boats, including a 120-foot tall sailboat. Wow. She joined Girl Scouts as a brownie and continued through high school and went on to earn the Girl Scout Gold Award. We are so excited to have Sarah on the podcast today. Help me welcome Sarah. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So, today we want to roll right into the interview and talk about your experience as a Girl Scout, how that led into earning the Gold Award, and what you're up to today. So, can you tell me how long you were a Girl Scout, and what was something you loved the most about being a girl in the program?
Yeah, so as you just mentioned, I did join Scouts when I was a brownie. So I started in, I think, first grade. And I can remember at that point thinking like, oh gosh, I wish I had done this last year. And started even younger as a daisy. And that was always kind of a running joke between me and some of the other girls in scouting of who had been in it longest. And since I didn't get in until first grade, I was already behind the curveball, but it was a great little jest. And I decided to stay in Girl Scouts through high school. I did move through several troops, and it took me a little while to find a group of girls and a group of adults that I really meshed well with. And then once I did, finished out the program from middle school through high school. And gosh, there are so many things to love about scouting. I think probably my favorite memories are connected to the outdoor time and camping, and probably most of all, the silly songs. I can think about singing the songs at Girl Scout camp, and I can think about singing the songs just when my troop would go and do weekend events and camping. And then in college, I did a cross-country road trip with two of my girlfriends who I graduated from Scouts with, and I can remember we were hiking in Glacier National Park, and it was starting to be dusk, and we were getting concerned about all the stories of grizzly bears and how you needed to be loud, and what we started to do was sing Girl Scout songs. So we're in the middle of Glacier National Park just singing these Girl Scout songs, and so I think those are the core memories that I think about the most when I think about Scouts.
I love all of those personally. I'm an outdoors fanatic myself, and I can really see how you've kind of had some of these same personality traits. It seems throughout your life you've loved the outdoors, always been an adventurous spirit. I love to hear how you were able to continue that into adulthood and really your career. Yeah. So after you went through the program and you had all these experiences, or I shouldn't say after, but you're nearing the end of your program, you make the decision to earn the Girl Scout Gold Award. Can you tell me a little bit about how you came about choosing that topic and some of the steps that you took to complete that award?
Yeah, so for me it was actually a tragic situation that led to me picking the topic that I did. One of those same girlfriends who I went on a cross-country road trip with, and when we were in college, her brother passed away in a drunk driving accident when we were sophomores in high school. And that really had a profound impact on our lives, especially on Adrian's life, but on all of us that were close to her and her brother, Wes. And after that happened in my sophomore year, I was thinking about that as I went into my junior year and started contemplating what I might do for my Gold Award project. And so I decided that I really wanted to focus on awareness campaigns for driver safety, drunk driving, and that led me down that path. So it wasn't something that I had been thinking about for a long period of time. It wasn't a topic that I had previously been passionate about, but it was one of those moments that felt right. And I was grateful to be able to take that tragedy and be able to hopefully cause other students to avoid that same event.
I'm certain you made an impact. This was something that affected the whole community in such a negative way, but I can appreciate that you were able to not turn a situation around, but use it as a moment for the community to band back together. Sometimes Gold Awards really have to focus on these difficult issues, but girls are facing challenges every day, and this could be someone you know. So it's really important to spread awareness about these big issues, even if they're difficult to talk about. Thank you for sharing that. I know that's not always the easiest to talk about. So when you were going through the actual process of earning the award, from your perspective as a Girl Scout, was there anything challenging or any hiccups you faced, and how'd you go about overcoming that, if so?
Yeah, so I knew that I wanted to do something impactful that connected to limiting drunk driving. And what I decided to do was situate an awareness campaign within the week of prom. So the junior and senior prom time period was what I focused on, because I know that there is a lot of partying that might happen at that time period, and some of that can involve underage drinking, and I wanted to make sure that my fellow students were aware about the dangers of engaging in those sorts of behaviors. And so I worked with community members to come in and host a panel of students who were in driver safety at that time in school. We did a morning announcement over the PA system where it would talk about this drunk driving, and set up the script for that and recorded it and played that as part of this campaign. And then also worked with Mothers Against Drunk Driving to have a car that had been involved in a drunk driving accident brought to campus in that week before prom and placed there as a really in-your-face awareness campaign about just how serious this topic was. And so it was a big project of many moving parts. And the challenges, I think, mostly for me, were understanding project management from start to finish of what it takes to run a campaign like that, because it wasn't just the PA. It wasn't just arranging to have the car there. It wasn't just arranging the panel of speakers, of guest speakers to come in, but it was working with all of the different partner groups to make sure that happened. And that was a lot. That was a lot to do, especially as a 16 and 17-year-old. I look back on that now and think about how wonderful it was to have project management experience like that at 16 or 17 years old. But in the moment, it just felt like a lot. Mixing that in with trying to complete school and marching band and crew and just Girl Scouts. It was a lot to work on. And I think that also is part of the majesty of the Gold Award, is that it puts a lot of this responsibility in girls' hands and allows them to see just how powerful they are.
Absolutely. It's a profound accomplishment, and I think you perfectly illustrated kind of the challenge that older girls may be facing. They've got other extracurriculars, and this just requires them to hone down their leadership skills, find something they're passionate about, bring it to fruition, and you did that.
Yeah, thank you.
That's so cool to reflect on, and I really enjoy hearing more about your project. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So otherwise, outside of earning the Gold Award, getting all those leadership skills, can we talk a little bit more about what you love about the outdoors and why you continue to have a fondness for getting outside?
Yeah, I think, gosh, as an adult who works now in outdoor recreation and experiential learning. I now recognize that what you do by getting kids in the outdoors is give them space to learn and grow, get out of their comfort zone. But I think the best thing that happens is that those sorts of opportunities incorporate the learning through play. And that is something that every kid needs in their life. And I think now even more than 15, 20 years ago, with the technology, it's very easy to get sucked in to sitting inside, to feeling disconnected, and Girl Scouts allows the opportunity to form meaningful relationships with other kids your age. I also really appreciated the space that Girl Scouts provided an opportunity for girls to talk together, and I think there's something very special that happens when there aren't boys in the picture and girls have this space to work together and kind of take away some of those dynamics that start to hit when you get to middle school and high school. I can remember when I was in high school, one of my good girlfriends and I, who was in Girl Scouts with me, we started splintering off because she was dating somebody and was kind of all into that person, and so our relationship was fragmenting, and we ended up during that time period taking a troop trip to New York City and staying at a YWCA, and we got put in the same bunk room. And that moment was something that was kind of magical because although we didn't really want to be sleeping in the same quarters, it forced us to be together and work through those differences and start forming more positive relationships again and funny moments. And so I think Girl Scouts does that every day for different individuals and sets up powerful relationship building and the ability to work with people of different viewpoints and perspectives. And I think that's just magical.
That's so perfectly said. I love how you were able to bring something back around just over that connection you had. Say, we can work this out.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to roll into a bit about how some of those skills you were talking about you learned throughout the journey of being a Girl Scout and earning the Gold Award. How did those translate into your career and impact your drive for volunteerism?
Yeah, well, I think Girl Scouts had a huge impact on what I've decided to do with my life. I have a master's degree in public history, which is kind of like the museum studies side of history. And I think even my passion for museums started with Girl Scouts, doing the night at the museum or sleeping at the Science Museum in Richmond, I can remember, as well as doing a small environmental center where we got to do a sleepover there. And that really, really built my passion, or was a catalyst for how cool museums can be. So that's one of those connections, direct connections to what I decided to do. But I think even larger than that, Girl Scouts teaches you through the projects that you work on to be mindful of the community at large through those service projects. And I value that. It's why I've gone into the nonprofit field. I have a couple of slogans that I like to use that come through my mom. One is think globally and act locally. And so I think that mentality of being mindful of our impact on our local community and how we are all part of the global community really ties into a lot of Girl Scout mentality, having these girls around the globe and how we're working to improve our lives and our standing as women, as well as just as friends, as community members. And then I also really love that saying of be the change you wish to see in the world that comes from Gandhi. And I think, again, that sticks out to me because of Girl Scouts telling individuals that they can make a difference, and constantly encouraging those skills of resilience. So we practice resilience, we practice building our skills and our capacity through every level of Girl Scouts. And I think it really sticks when you practice something enough times, right? It just becomes part of your character. And so I'm incredibly grateful for my experience in Girl Scouts, for the friendships that I developed, and for the character building that I got to experience firsthand. And I am so thankful to have been invited to be a part of the GSCCC board and be able to build some of those skills in today's girls.
Girl Scout experience provide so many opportunities for girls to grow and learn about themselves. And this is just a profound testament to how that stewardship begins early, and love for your community and togetherness really starts early, especially when Girl Scouts are put in a place where they're able to do that together as young as little daisies. Sarah, this was a fabulous interview, and thanks so much for joining us on our podcast. We loved learning all about your Gold Award project and just how you've translated these skills into a fabulous career. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.